Half an hour north of Denver, Colorado, lies Lafayette Cemetery. Established in 1891. It is on these historic burial grounds that a strange grave lies, one which is steeped in urban legend. Transylvania, 1877. An area rich with folklore and legends of spirits, witches, and vampires. Deep in the Carpathian Mountains stands Ponari Fortress, once the home of Vlad Tepes III, a brutal ruler of Wallachia, who was also known as Vlad the Impaler. A true sadist, he delighted in torture and would often impale his victims by placing them atop long wooden poles. Their weight would eventually drive the stake through their bodies in a slow, agonizing process. Vlad would then create a forest of the impaled, where he would arrange rows and rows of them in patterns outside the city of Târgoviște as a warning to his enemies. In 1462, one of his grim forests contained 20,000 poles, all of which displayed impaled Turkish prisoners, horrifying the invading Ottoman army and leading to their retreat. In all, Vlad Tepes III was responsible for the deaths of 40,000 to 100,000 people, who were also hanged, burned, boiled, and buried alive. As his father was Wallachian ruler Vlad II Dracul, he was the son of Dracul, and in the 1470s, he would sign his name as Dragulja, or Draculja, and his infamy would live on as an inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. His notoriety spread throughout countless stories in cinema, immortal as ever in our modern culture. But there was another figure to emerge from Transylvania, unknown to many, but one who also found immortality in local legend. In 1877, in the dark shadows of Vlad's bloody dominion, Theodor Glava was born in the Transylvanian village of Lesnik. This was a mining community where Theodor eventually learned the skills of the trade, and where as an adult, he was put to work in Lesnik's marble mines. In his late 30s, he left behind his wife, Sophia, and daughter, Victoria, to pursue better work in America. His search led him to Gary, West Virginia, though he eventually settled in Canfield, Colorado, where he found work as a coal miner in the neighboring town of Lafayette, Colorado. Here, in the Simpson mine, he made a living, though some began to suspect that the mysterious immigrant survived through more supernatural means. When the devastating and highly contagious Spanish flu broke out in 1918, which eventually claimed around 50 million lives worldwide, Theodor was one of its victims. 2 days after his death, his body was laid to rest at Lafayette Cemetery, next to a fellow Romanian and coal miner, John Trandafir, who died just 2 days after Theodor. While alive, Theodor had been viewed with suspicion by local residents, some of whom suspected him of being a vampire. During the pandemic, as more and more people failed to report to work, seeming to disappear, fear and suspicion were greatly amplified. And during the height of the great influenza epidemic, when Theodor died, the townspeople decided that something drastic was necessary, and they dug up his grave. What they discovered terrified them, as blood was found around Theodor's mouth. His teeth had also appeared to have grown, as had his nails. Though these are all natural signs of decay, for the townspeople, it simply confirmed all of the stories they'd heard about Theodor, how he had been bitten before leaving Transylvania, and how he became immortal, how he drank from the blood of his wife and daughter, murdering them, fleeing from Transylvania and migrating to Canfield, where the blood of locals sustained him. For this reason, to ensure that he did not rise again, a stake was driven through his heart, and he was reburied. The townspeople were finally appeased, though over time, a curious thing happened. The wooden stake grew into a tall juniper tree, as well as a rose bush, which was said to have sprouted from Theodor's long nails. Residents would also begin to report sightings of a tall, dark figure coming and going from the cemetery late in the evenings. One witness described him as having blood-red pupils. Disappearances in the community were attributed to ongoing vampire activity, and Lafayette parents began warning their children about being out too late, lest they become food for the immortals. But no matter who or what he really was, today, within the north-central edge of Lafayette Cemetery, in the pauper section, Theodore Glava's headstone still rests next to the juniper tree. And every year, upon his grave, visitors leave offerings such as red roses, coins, strange trinkets, even blood wine, to honor him.